Hey there, welcome back to the channel. My name's Ben Lunsford. I've been a licensed real estate agent since 2010, and I am doing these videos here just to share with you how to become a real estate agent, and how to move forward through that process. And right now we've gone over getting licensed, budgeting. In the last video we talked about how to pick a firm. How do you pick a company, right? We went over that in the last one. And then now what, right? You've got a firm, you got your license, and you're sitting there at the office. Now what, right? Where do we start? How do we get business, right? You need business, but you know nothing, right? This is where hopefully the company that you have worked, or the firm that you've hung your license with, hopefully you've joined the right one that will have training for you. And not all training is equal, okay? But hopefully they'll be able to start pointing you in the right direction. I'm here to supplement that, we'll say, to help you in case you're not getting the training you really need. So firstly, let's lay out some broad general priorities. You need to get business clients, right? You need to know how to serve them. Which is showing homes and listing homes, right? You need to know how to take them through closing, contracts, and the closing process, right? And so let's talk about these a bit here. And depending on these topics, I may end up doing a little bit more in-depth video later on some of these things, but this will hopefully at least get you started. How do you get new clients? Number one, how in the world do you find a person who wants to buy a house and wants to help you? Number one, your sphere. Your sphere of influence, or SOI, is a very common abbreviation within real estate lingo. And your SOI, these are people that you know, people you've been connected with. So for me, it was people at my church, people I went to high school with, people at my previous church, people I worked at summer camp with, people in my car club. There was a variety of different people that I knew that I had in my history, right? In my sphere of influence. And these can be also, your neighbors, if you're friends with your neighbors. It can be, any kind of club that you're in. If you're PTA, or if you're gym, you got a book club, okay? Anybody you know. Now, what do you do with that? Well, first thing you do, if you're just getting started, call every single one of them. And you think I'm joking, but I'm not. I'm dead serious. You call every single one of them. And even if you haven't talked to them in 3 years or whatever, you call them up. Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to reconnect with you, man. What's going on in life, right? Eventually, they're going to ask you what's going on in life. Like, well, hey, actually, I used to work at such and such place, and I recently got my license. Or I've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 15 years, and now I got my real estate license. And I'm pretty excited to start this new adventure. Or whatever, however you want to phrase it, but there's a way to be able to introduce that. After you make the connection, you can follow up and just say, hey, I'd love to stay in touch with you, via email. Would it be all right if I get your email address? Or if you already have their contact info, would it be all right if I kept in touch via email moving forward? They say yes, boom, now you've got people to start adding to your email database to stay in touch on a regular basis, right? I can tell you, so about 85% of my business has come from people I know and my past clients. So maybe I had somebody who I didn't know, I was cold calling or something, and they became a client. Well, then I had future business with those people. So they move in from cold call into sphere of influence. Number two is open houses. Now, I got to be honest, this one's been a rough one for me. Okay, I don't know how many open houses I've done in 14 years of being in real estate. It just has not been a good one for me, whether I didn't follow up well, but I'm telling you, I get ghosted by a lot of people. But at the same time, I know people that do open houses every weekend and get business all the time. They don't get business every weekend, but they get enough business happening that it really works well for them. So I don't know. I can't tell you what it is about me, but I can tell you, if you're hosting an open house, though, it's an opportunity to remind people what you're doing. share it on Facebook. Hey, there's great open house. Come see me here. You know, it's a way to share with people what you're doing and that you're in real estate without banging them over the head saying, I'm in real estate, come work with me, right? But we're sharing the open house. And then that gives you an opportunity still to, in the neighborhood, to talk to people, get to know the neighborhood, get to know the people in the neighborhood. It's a continued connection builder. And so there's a lot of benefits beyond just getting new clients. But I would definitely recommend that if you want to do open houses, to connect with somebody or watch some of these other videos on YouTube about doing big old open houses. And but it is, I know, like I said, for a lot of agents, I definitely know agents that have gotten good business from open houses. So it's certainly something to do, and it's free. So there you go. Now, everyone's favorite, number 3, cold calling. You sense the sarcasm. There really aren't many people that actually like cold calling. So there are those few out there that really like the challenge of it. There are some that have been able to build great business with it, and so they just know it's their bread and butter, and they just keep going after it. I've gotten good clients from cold calling. My first sale was actually a for sale by owner. It wasn't a cold call, but I had went to an open house, for sale by owner open house, and I had some of my really good clients that I ended up doing 4 or 5 sales for. They weren't expired, that I called for 10 months, I think it was, before they were finally ready to actually put their house in the market again. And so you definitely can get business. You have to have thick skin, because some people will yell at you. Some people will get frustrated with you. But you break through to the ones that are open, and you get an appointment, and you can be able to go and help them sell their house. You're calling for sell by owners. You're calling expired listings. You're calling canceled. One of the things that I feel like makes it a little bit tougher, or became tougher for me, was there's a lot more screen or call screening, so less people were picking up their phone, and so that was kind of annoying, or it made it more phone calls in order to make contact. So, but at the same time, I know agents today, 2024, that are doing this. They're calling for sell by owners, they're calling expireds, and they're getting appointments, and they're getting listings. All right, it's not a dead practice. You just have to practice so that you develop your skill and you're able to actually communicate the right way. Again, there's tons of videos and other resources on here on YouTube all about making expired phone calls or sell by owners, whatever, different ways you want to do that. Again, that's free. Okay, it doesn't cost you most of the time. So some places, like where my MLS that I'm in right now, there's no owner phone numbers. So I can't just pick up the phone and see their phone number on the MLS and call them. So you'd have to subscribe to some services that give you that information, or like I'm at Epic Realty and they subscribe to those services for me, and those leads are all in a pool, and I can grab those leads and claim them, and I can call them if I want to. And so, depending on the office that you're at, the company, you might have some of those perks. But anyway, number 4, this one I'm going to mention for those that are starting out with big money. That's marketing, right? Because marketing takes dollars. And so maybe you're going to do a bunch of mailers to a farm. I don't mean literal farm. They call it a farm when it's a place that, like a neighborhood that you're trying to get business from. So it's a geographic farm. And so you may have a neighborhood of 500 homes, or you take a mail carrier route, which could have anywhere from 400 to 800 homes in that route, and you mail stuff there every month or twice a month, and you try to draw that out. That's money. You have online ads. You've got all the online, so Facebook, Google, different things like that. Those things, it takes a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of money to get leads per se, but it takes a lot to get consistency and to figure out the best types of ads to be posting to be drawing in the right kind of traffic. There was a guy, I think he recorded this video back in 2010, 2012, somewhere in there. He built a big old plan, and he got $50,000 from a relative because he had this big business plan, knew exactly what he was going to do, and just bought all the Zillow zip codes around his area, and he got a bunch of leads, put them through his system. Within 4 months, he paid back his brother-in-law. And so online leads work. You just have to work them, and it costs money. So you can easily be spending $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. You could spend $100 a month. Um, I think if I had to put a number on it, I would say to really drive right now traffic, you need to spend probably $500 a month between maybe some platforms and your actual online ad spend. That would be my thought to really drive enough traffic to be following up and moving forward with that. So I don't recommend it to beginners necessarily. I think it's better if you have kind of gotten your feet wet, working with some buyers and figuring some things out, but it's an option. So if you got money, more power to you, man. Number 5, social media in general. All right. This is still your sphere, but it's different than making phone calls or emails or whatever. It's the way you represent yourself. And don't post about real estate 14 times a day every day. Okay. I think they've figured out that the best percentage here is like 20%. 1 out of 5 posts can be business related, and then the other one should be personal, because people want to work with somebody that's authentic. They want to work with you as a person. They're not trying to hire a bot, someone who's pretending to be this other thing. They want you. You're going to connect with people, just like some of you are connecting with me, and some of you think I'm an idiot. We all connect differently, right? And so, but again, there's a lot that you can do there for branding yourself. I'll say on Facebook, Instagram. I know a loan officer who has just killed it on TikTok. I'm not saying do all of them, but you take your pick, right? But don't do Google Plus or MySpace, because they don't exist anymore. But anyways, this is just the tip of the iceberg, right? When it comes to ways that you can attract clients to yourself. And so if you're currently an agent and you're struggling with business, reach out, let's chat. Because I've been able to find some ways that can be beneficial and can draw some more conversations. And there's a few different things out there. Now, the next priority here is the selling process. Okay. Going to check out a home can be daunting at first. If you've never just randomly gone to a stranger's house and looked through all their rooms, it can be a little bit daunting. All right. So practice, pull up listings, things that you like, and then go preview them. Follow the showing instructions and go take a look. You can even call the agent up. Hey, I'm new and I want to preview some homes and I want to preview your property. And do you mind if I do that by following the showing instructions? 99% of the time, they're not going to care. All right. The more eyes on the house, the better. Because you might look at that and guess what? Next week, you might have a friend who says, hey, I think I want to buy a house. Do you know something like this? And they'll describe it. You're like, I just saw that house last week. Okay. So practice, pull up these properties, go to a preview, check out 5 homes a week. Okay. This will help you get familiar with looking at homes, the different types of homes in your area, and it could potentially give you social media fodder, right? I mean, content for posting about, hey, I'm checking out this house here on Main Street, and it's a pretty sweet home. If you're looking for a home in this area, give me a call, right? I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do in that regard. When you've seen the home and then you see it sell, that'll give you some insight into your market. How much homes are selling for? What are 3-bedroom homes selling for? What are 2-bedroom homes selling for? What are homes in this side of town selling for? Right? What are homes on this side of town selling for? So go all over your area. Don't limit yourself to within 5 minutes of your house. Go, and again, as an example, I'm in Knoxville, but I actually live near the airport, so I'm a little closer to Maryville. And I've looked at homes in Maryville and Knoxville and on the west side of Knoxville. And I kind of figured out the southeast side of Knoxville is maybe the little bit cheaper homes, and the northwest side of Knoxville is a little bit better. And you get further west, you get more kind of $1 million homes, unless you're on the river, by Knoxville. So I've kind of figured out some of these things. And same thing with Maryville, and where are the big acreage homes? If you want big land, where do you go? And so you need to figure that out, whether you're in downtown Dallas or Chicago or Seattle, or you're out in podunk parts of Arizona, whatever, right? Figure out your market, and you can figure that out by previewing homes. Now, as far as listing properties goes, this can be a little more involved, okay? You need to know the market, you need to know homes, you know how to communicate with sellers about their home and let them know your home isn't worth as much as you think it is. Yes, you think this adds value, but it doesn't add value. This was a personal decision on your part. Okay. You need to learn some of those things, and that comes with practice again, but also the marketing. How do you market a home to get it sold? Right? So ask another agent in your office, hey, on your next listing appointment, can I tag along with you to learn? Okay. If you can't find an agent in your office that you can tag along with to on their next listing appointment to learn, you're in the wrong office. Just point blank. All right. You can also, though, practice listing appointments with another agent. Say, hey, can you be a seller and help me? I want to practice some things. Okay. If you can't find someone to practice with, you're in the wrong office. All right. So those are things that your office really should be helping you. You're finding people so you can practice those things. Buyers are definitely a little bit easier in making that connection and moving forward. Now, the marketing part with selling a property, I feel like that's kind of learned because you learn more about properties as you sell them and as you help buyers and what buyers are looking for. Kind of take some process, but you'll figure out what it is in your area because it is a little bit different in Knoxville versus in New York or Columbus, whatever. There's some things that are going to be the same. Everybody needs professional photography. Okay, that's the same everywhere. But there's other things that may be a little bit different in terms of, should you do brokers opens? Should you do open houses? There's a lot of things that can be different and unique to your market. So there's other great platforms that you can use to market your homes. One of the ones that I've found very helpful is called Listings to Leads. I'll put a link down below, a link to their YouTube channel, but I'll also put a link to my affiliate link. Yes, this one is an affiliate link, and I will get some discount on their services if you sign up through my link. It's a great service. They have all kinds of landing pages and different ways that you can communicate just listed, just sold, open house, etc. with your database. And on Facebook, they have social media posts. They have all kinds of things. And I think it's a great help when you're trying to sell a home. And it's been helpful to me. I've gotten leads from it. And so that's why I recommend it. But anyways, so after talking about the listing part of it and learning that part of it, so we have learning how, going out looking at homes and learning your market and figuring some of those things out you're dealing with buyers and sellers. The third part of our priorities here, the contracts and closing process. If you're a new agent, you may not have ever seen a contract before if you've never bought a home or anything, right? So the best thing you can do is read it. Get your contract. Read the purchase and sale agreement. Write up a new purchase and sale agreement every single day. That's some advice that I got from a guy at my first office. He said, write a new contract every day. Now think about this for a minute. The average agent does like 6 to 10 sales a year. So that means they're only writing up 6 to 10 contracts a year. In 3 years, they will have done 30 contracts. If you do one contract every day for 30 days, you've just done their 3 years worth of work in 1 month. Now, yes, they're fake contracts, but you're going to get to know the contract inside and out. And each one, grab a house from a different area. Grab a house that's out in the country on septic and well. Grab a house that's downtown. Grab a condo, whatever. Grab one that's of interest or that's different, and then write up your contract with it. Then talk to your broker ahead of time. Let them know that you want to do this. Send them the contract. Say, can you look this over for me? What did I miss? Trust me, your broker will thank you. Okay, your broker would much rather correct you on a fake contract than have to deal with fixing something that you messed up on a live contract. And this is going to allow you to figure these things out. So when it comes time for you to explain the contract to your buyer or explain the contract to your seller, you're going to know it inside and out, right? You're going to know all the addendums you need. You're going to know, your closing times and all that kind of stuff, right? And so it's better to make a mistake on these than it is when earnest money for your buyer's involved. Okay, I've heard some sad stories of buyers losing 10 grand or something because contract wasn't good. Now, if you have questions about your forms, talk to your broker. That's what they're there for. If you don't understand something on your contract, if you are concerned about the way things are worded or whatever, talk to your broker. That's what they're there for, okay? Now, for the closing process, ask your broker. Say, what's a normal closing like? What's the process here? Ask a title and escrow company. You're going to want to find a good title and escrow company. So call 5, 6, 7 of them and say, I'd like to talk to an escrow officer about the closing process and hear what the closing process is from their perspective, because they only get a part of it. The lender has a part of it, okay? And so, but find that out. And as you talk with them, figure out, who do you connect with? Who are the escrow people that you kind of like, that feel good? Because you're going to have to refer your buyer to an escrow company. And I know some states have attorneys, and some have attorneys and escrow companies and title companies. Find out what your state uses. Talk to those people. Say, hey, I'm a new broker. I want to hear about the closing process so I know what to expect. Call lenders and do the exact same thing, because you need to find a good lender that you can refer. And so talk to them, find out, who do you connect with? Who really knows what they're talking about? Who's going to take the time to educate you, a new broker, about this, right? They should be happy to educate you. If they're not, move on. You don't want to refer them, okay? But that'll give you some understanding of the closing process so you know what to expect as best you can. Ultimately, every closing is a little different. There's hiccups that happen all the time, and the only way that you figure those things out is through experience in the grand scheme of things. But by having these conversations with your broker, with escrow, and with a lender, you'll at least be somewhat prepared, okay? So your first month, in my opinion, or if I was dictating for you or coaching you, is going to be pretty packed with writing a contract every day, previewing a home every day, and calling an escrow person every day, calling a lender every day, and talking to them about these things, right? It's going to be pretty packed with that. And so that's really what I would try to focus on. And then you can take some time to make these posts on Facebook and some of these different kinds of things, and try to, be calling all your sphere. There's a lot of stuff that you can be doing. You put all this stuff together, you have a pretty busy day. Now remember, this is not the perfect how-to for your first month. Okay? I'm not guaranteeing business in your first month. I'm not guaranteeing that doing all this will get you clients by the end of your first month. But I absolutely guarantee you can't go wrong by doing these things. Okay? All of these things that I've talked about are going to increase your expertise, increase your knowledge, increase your skill level. It's going to make you a better real estate agent. So now, honestly, despite the training that I got, or being at a training-focused company, I won't name them in this video. I think I named them in the other one. They had good training, but I felt like most of the training was really geared towards cold calling. And it was how to call expireds, how to call, for sale by owners. They talked about open houses, and they talked about your sphere of influence and some things, but I had someone else come alongside me and say, he was a new guy. He'd been in business for like 9 months. He's like, hey, why don't you come with me and go look at some houses, preview houses? I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, literally, this guy was out of business in 6 months. He went on to something else because he wasn't getting business at all. But that's what kind of started cluing me in. And there was, this company had a thing, they called it, I want to say it was like 5, 10, 15, 5 or something like that. Preview 5 houses a week and write 10 note cards and try to meet 15 new people and something else. I can't remember. And it was good, but it was like, I don't know. I didn't feel like it was involved training as much as maybe they might have thought it was. But and we all take to training a little bit differently. And maybe now I'm older and wiser too. I don't know. But anyways, I had their process, for getting leads, and I was making phone calls, and I was getting some things going, But what I'm sharing with you now is what I feel like after 14 years, what I feel are best practices to start day one. Once you get started, what should you be doing? Previewing homes, calling your sphere to reconnect, and writing a contract every day, calling a lender, calling an escrow company, and finding this information out, right? That's what you should be doing every single day for your first month. Now, your company probably has some trainings and things like that, and you could probably fit those in as well. But I think this is something that could really set you off on the right foot. Again, it's not the end all be all, but it's absolutely a great place to get started. All right. Now, feel free to drop questions, comments down below, and I'm happy to try to answer them best I can. If you are interested in Epic Realty and the free leads that they give and a lot of the other things, feel free to reach out for that as well. But for now, I'll quote Red Green for you. I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together.